Moving on to the next subject, last subject of the session. Definitely an important one, definitely something that is very prevalent to what's going on in the matrix out there. And the official question that we are going to speak on is mandatory vaccination in New York or anywhere else in our best interest. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this to Mr. PAT to start us off. What say you, sir?
All right, so there's an article on Yahoo News called New York City requires proof of vaccination for indoor activities. And then there's another article by the New York Times called NYC will require workers and customers show proof of at least one dose for indoor dining and other activities. Now, with the Yahoo News article, it basically starts off by saying New York City will require proof of vaccination for indoor venues, including restaurants, gyms, and performances as a condition of entry. Now, I'm going to say this, and this is from the article. So, in quote, Mayor Bill de Blasio announced the mandate Tuesday morning. As part of the new program, New York City is launching a health pass called Key to NYC Pass for both employees and patrons to present verification of vaccination at restaurants, concert halls, and a number of other recreational facilities. Now, this is de Blasio in quotes. If he said, if you want to participate in our society fully, you've got to get vaccinated. This is what de Blasio said at the Tuesday press conference. Now, this article was posted on August 3rd. So if this mandate was announced on a Tuesday, that means that this announcement was made on Tuesday, August 3rd. So basically, up there in New York, and shout out to all my folks up there in New York, by the way. So basically, up there in New York, if you don't show proof of vaccination, you won't go to places to eat and you won't be able to participate in other indoor activities.
Hey,
I'm gonna
I'm
just
sorry.
say that I think it's ridiculous.
It is. Hold on, just to not to cut you off, PAT,
I
but
got
it's
you.
very interesting. They said nothing about supermarkets, because a supermarket is not a venue
Right.
and a supermarket is not a restaurant, you know? So it's very interesting how it's like
They
those three
can't
things are
because
being
that would prevent people from a necessity that they need in order to live.
Right.
correct. Oh,
But
good.
I honestly I think it could get to that point. But I don't think
I doubt it.
they didn't do that now. But I honestly think it could get to that point. But hopefully not. Hopefully not. So yeah, like I was saying, I just think that all of that I mentioned earlier is just ridiculous. And I hope that other states don't follow suit if they haven't already. Now, I won't get too deep into it on here, but when we get to a point where we are required to show proof of vaccination before we can participate in society, we are headed down a really bad path. We are headed into a
Of
society
communism.
that pretty much that is saying get vaccinated or else. Now, the powers that be are attacking people's way of life in order to get more people to go get poked. I mean, I hate to say this.
Basically,
Yeah, yeah, I hate to say this, but I mean, as we said earlier, we spoke on the grocery stores, but it could get to a point where grocery stores might require proof. And if you don't have that, then you can't get food. I really
Don't
don't want
worry.
it.
I'll meet them in court.
Yeah, I really don't want it to get to that point, and hopefully it won't. That's going to be a huge problem, by the way.
Oh no, I'm gonna take them to court. Best believe that.
You and
Oh,
many others. I
they're
mean,
going to court.
so yeah, and that's good
Oh
because
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah,
We.
it can't.
Oh no. I'm gonna give me a crew and be like, yo, we're gonna file a class action lawsuit against them. Believe that. So
Yeah, definitely. I'm all for it because it can't get to that point. But with the way things are going, who knows? So I'm not going to go into whether or not people should go get poked, but I could say that the fear mongering that has been taking place is really unnecessary. I'm gonna just say that.
or the jab is what they call it.
Right. I just call it the poke or the jab because I know
I think both are funny.
yeah, people getting jabbed or they getting poked. We know what it means. But yeah, the fear mongering it's just really unnecessary, and it's a lot of it going on right now. Now, I'm not saying that the virus shouldn't be taken seriously, and I'm not saying that it hasn't cost people's lives, but I can say with confidence that the recovery rate is a lot higher than the deaths. And
That's true though.
And I've looked at the numbers myself. I've looked at the numbers. The recovery rate is significantly higher. Most people are likely to survive than die. That's a fact. And like I said, for those who didn't hear me in the back, I looked at the numbers myself. But of course, the media will focus on the numbers of deaths and encourage people to go get poked.
Of course.
I mean, it's to the point where celebrities have been brought on board to promote the poke.
That is true.
And I guess for the blind worshipers and sycophants out there, they'll go line up to go get poked since their favorite celebrity said so.
That is true.
We spoke on this before, but as we all know, there are many incentives out there in the Matrix. Incentives to encourage people to go get poked.
Yes, that is true. That includes gift cards, money, and groceries.
Yeah, French fries, donuts.
French fries, burgers, free bagels at Panera, you name it. Right. And donuts at Krispy Kremes also too.
Yep, all that. But to answer the question more directly, I say no. Mandatory vaccination is not in everyone's best interest. You're damn near forcing people to do something they might not want to do.
Agree.
People say it might be in the name of health, but seriously, since when has the powers that be actually given a damn about people's health?
I agree.
I'm just wondering. I mean, we know Black people have been encouraged left and right to go get poked, but really, since when has Black people's health ever been taken into consideration? Inquiring minds want to know. Inquiring minds really want to know. And this is not even my opinion because really all we have to do is look at history.
Correct.
I'll just say that overall, mandatory vaccination is just not a good look, whether it's in New York or anywhere else. And once again, for the thought police out there listening on social media or wherever else, because I know y'all like to get on your Orwellian shit. I'm not saying that people should or should not go get vaccinated. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying any of the above. I'm not even going to speak on that. I already know Big Brother is watching. And
always.
Yeah, always. And they all like to be thought police with these stupid ass fact checkers. So I just don't think there needs to be a mandate. That's really what I'm saying. There
really shouldn't be a mandate.
So I'm gonna just end it off with that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, good stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and follow up on this. And you know, honestly, fellas, my thoughts on this matter are short and sweet. Is mandatory vaccination in New York or anywhere else in our best interest? I 100% agree with Pat. The answer is no. It's in the best interest of those trying to force folks to receive the vaccine, whether the individual wants to or not. I mean, after all, at the end of the day, right, the CDC and WHO, for those who do not know, WHO stands for World Health Organization, has claimed that wearing masks will prevent the spread of the virus. So if that's the case, then why wouldn't they simply go back to requiring folks to wear masks at all times? Why are you now jumping to the extreme of requiring vaccinations? That makes no sense. The entire point is to ensure their agenda is achieved by requiring this in the US's most populated city. They're thinking numbers, they're thinking influence, and at the end of the day, it really, when you think about it, is not only an obstruction of what they told us previously, but of civil liberties. Because if you think about what their original claim was, which is that people who are vaccinated cannot infect others and will not receive the virus again. But we know that now they're saying, oh, we're not exactly sure about that. I happen to personally know someone who was fully vaccinated who just caught the recent version of the virus. So I don't think in general there is enough knowledge of the virus and how it works to say that the vaccinations is the end all be all solution to the problem. Again, just like Pat, I am not speaking on whether people should or shouldn't. I personally believe it's none of anybody's fucking business. If you're vaccinated and you truly believe that you're protected by being vaccinated, you shouldn't care whether someone is vaccinated or not, because you can't catch it from them, right? Technically, that's how it's supposed to work, right? So
it makes sense.
Right, exactly. So for me, it's like, why are you, it's offensive, in my opinion, when people ask or people try to infer whether or not other people are vaccinated. But I'm not even speaking on that part of it. I'm not speaking on whether people should or should not get the vaccination. My thing is the jump to requiring the vaccination makes no sense to me. The entire premise of requiring people to wear masks is by doing so, you do not infringe on anyone's civil liberties, but you also prevent the spread of the virus. Why wouldn't you just go back to making masks mandatory? Why would you jump to requiring vaccinations? Seems fishy.
You don't know how to make it make sense.
Exactly. And then to just add this other little snippet, and I really am done. That's my mindset on it. To add this other little snippet, I don't really look to anything that the New York government says as word of law. Okay. They don't have the best track record for people in their government. Giuliani was a fucking buffoon. And Cuomo, for those of you who do not know, was the current governor of New York, actually just resigned today amongst allegations of sexual harassment. Let me repeat that for you.
He did it. I've seen videos.
Current New York governor up until today, so that was current as of yesterday, Governor Cuomo resigned today on August the 10th, if it's still August the 10th for you, okay, amongst sexual harassment allegations.
It's August 11th, by the way, just saying.
Well, for those on the East Coast, it's still August 10th for those on the West Coast. But, the point is that, they are obviously not the end all be all, go by us, we're the standard, we're going to steer you the right path. I think it's about the numbers game there. I think it's about the public perception, because New York City is our most populated city here in the US. And it just doesn't make any sense to me that instead of reverting back to requiring masks, they would instead require vaccinations. That leap doesn't make sense to me from a logical standpoint. It doesn't jive with the entire message of the CDC and the World Health Organization, which was that masks protect and prevent the spread of the virus. So it's like you can't have your cake and eat it too. It can't be only vaccinations work. Everybody has to be vaccinated, but also wear masks because it is just, you need to wear masks. I understand where their argument is coming from, and that's their argument. The jumping to the vaccinations when there is still data that suggests that fully vaccinated people have caught the recent strand doesn't make sense to me. So those are my thoughts on the matter. I'm going to throw it to E-Man to wrap us up for the evening. What say you, sir?
So I was asked, I let both of my co-hosts, let me finish last because, this is my realm. This is what I do. This is what I love to do. I love science. So this is my arena and whatnot. This is where I ball hard, and this is where I make all the shots. You can call me Kobe, of the science, or you can call me, Shaquille O'Neal, because I make sure no one kills me out of my own paint. Now, before I start and whatnot, the first thing I want to say, the goal is you got to make the shit make sense. They can't even do that.
Which it doesn't make sense.
It don't even make sense. They can't even make the shit. It's so bad they're trying to make it make sense, but they can't even make it make sense to make people do what they want to do. That's how bad it looks. You have, and before I even go what I have to say, you have specialists that saying the shit that Fauci is saying don't even make sense and whatnot. Specialists, people who actually specialize, in a lot of pulmonary and, fields and whatnot, which, that means basically the lungs and whatnot. But, it's just the science he's putting out is not making sense because he's just talking out of his ass and whatnot. Now coming to this sense, talking about, the whole mandate thing, I tell everyone like this, I educate. That's what I do. I enjoy educating, and that's what I do. I educate minds. I educate souls. That's what I do. But my job is I'm not supposed to impose on anybody's free will. That's not my job. That's not why I was created into the universe, to impose on people's free will. It's you choose your free will towards your own health and whatnot. That is your job. My job is to educate you so you can be better healthy wise. The craziest thing about they never told anyone how to actually eat better or actually how to prevent and make yourself much more healthier towards building your immune system and whatnot. You sound like a tyrant, of forcing something that many people don't want to do. It's those who want to do it, that's fine, cool. I never fought anybody on that. But don't come over here and come and convince me towards something that you did, that you want me to fall in line with you. I'm like, nah, it don't work that way and whatnot. Because we're not one and the same. So I wouldn't even impose that rhetoric on anybody. That's not my job, But they can't even can't use the word unapologetic. They can't even be respectful about it. It's been so tyrantly. Like, go get the vaccine. It will take care of it. No, because all the research I've been looking at for the past damn near all of last year until now, that basically, yes, you can catch it by being, getting a jab or stab, and plus you can also, get it if you are what they call asymptomatic. It means you have to have some type of pulmonary disease or something like that, or you're on some type of medication that involves, with, this whole COVID thing. But COVID's also a code word, by the way, but I'm not going to break that. But based upon that, this whole COVID thing is actually connected to SARS, by the way, because it's on the test, by the way. So, which it's called COVID SARS, by the way, and SARS is basically a pulmonary, infection and whatnot. And infections are caused by viruses and whatnot, you know, which is build-up bacteria, by the way. Just to put that one out there. So, and I feel like there's more gains to this because if people were really paying attention, have you noticed that, all your bigger retail stores have made more money than anybody else and whatnot? And, you know, I'm not going to say if it's a political thing, which I already know it is in my eyes, and I'm not going to push what, my thoughts or opinions are on the matter, but how I see things is how I see it. Many people hate that, because I see things differently how others see it, and that's why I would say people don't like me. And to force something on somebody is wrong. Like, have you, and I tell people like this, I'm not even religious, but I don't force my will of my spirituality on others. But yet others who are religious do the opposite way and tell you that their religion is better than your religion and whatnot, So you telling people they're going against their own, not just their freedom of will, their own freedom of religion, their own freedom of space and whatnot. Because remember, you have the choice to go to a restaurant. You have a choice to go to a venue. You have a choice to go to the gym. These are choices that you make and whatnot. The gym's not waiting on you. The gym is a fake apparatus place with machines, towards on joint actions so that you can, get a proper, exercise routine, A restaurant's just a social gathering, where you choose to go eat. You choose the restaurants you go to and whatnot. And that can't, and towards like venues and whatnot, towards like any music venue or any type of venue, towards sporting events, you choose to go there. Because why? Because you pay money that you earn throughout that currency, to go to these places. These are choices you're not forced to go into a restaurant. You're not, you're really not. But to say, you got to show proof, which, it's not even law. Like, how are we pushing law against something that's not law? Now you're going against the rhetoric of law and whatnot. Because I thought law was supposed to help keep order, which, is among the class, I mean, us as people, to make sure that everything stays in, the word I don't like to use is control and whatnot. So nobody doesn't do anything crazy or heinous. But it seems like this goes way beyond law. And it seems like this thing raises a huge value over everything. Because that's what I've been seeing lately and whatnot. It seems like this thing is so big that it breaks science barriers, laws, like everything. You name it down the law. I mean, this thing is bigger than everything else and whatnot. That's what the media keep telling everybody. It's bigger than everything. Law, your way of living, even your own religion. So the media and everyone, that includes Fauci too, is telling you to go against your own free of your own beliefs and will to go get something. And that's all about that shit don't make no sense. Makes no sense at all. And that's the reason why it's not just bothering me, it's very sickening, And I tell everyone, the government has never cared about nobody's health, Why would it take so many years for them to actually care about something, especially your health and whatnot, Has any of these people come to you and talk to you physically and tell you what to do, how to better your own health? No. But yet you're willing to listen to somebody you don't even know that could tell you to get some that could actually harm you without you doing the proper research on your own to know what you're actually doing. That's the sad part at the end of the day. It's actually confusing more and more people. Like many people feel confused because it seems like now they have to go against their own free will. Whatnot. But I tell people, don't buy in. Take care of yourself. the more you eat better, the more you build your immune system. And that's the goal to fight off any virus and whatnot. That's the biggest goal, you know? So I'm gonna just end my thought for the night. Just basically state and say, you know, this shit makes no sense. You know, I do not agree with any of these tactics these people are doing. I do not agree with it at all. You know, and I tell everyone, it's gonna. In my eyes, I feel like it's gonna get worse because they're gonna tell people that you have to get other shots just for this and whatnot. Now you have to think about that after that also too. You know, after getting the first two, that's something that you have to think about. You know, and I feel like it's gonna get worse from the end of the day. So I'm gonna just end and state and say, know your will, know your power, and make sure you do everything to know that whatever choice you choose to make, you live with that choice and whatnot. Because I tell everyone, if you're just getting the shot so you can go back to get a little bit of a little bit of entertainment in your life, that is very dangerous for you guys to do something like that, because it seems like everyone has their own opinions why they're doing this. But I tell everyone like this: know your will, know your power, and not just think about what you're doing, but just think about, never harm yourself until you know. That's the wrong thing to say. Don't harm yourself just because someone told you to do it, And I'm going to just end my thoughts there.